Nole Insiders Lane Hurt and Tim Linnefelt here to give you your 3 keys to a Florida State victory over USF. Let's get right to it. Key number 1, you've seen this one before, a quick start. We'll give you a little data on this one. USF has scored first in 12 out of their last 15 games, while Florida State has only scored first in 4 out of its last 10. Tim, I think the fans want to see Florida State get on the board early and often.
Absolutely. Definitely early. You've seen it both in the Ole Miss game that Florida State won and in the Louisville game that Florida State obviously lost. They didn't just allow their opponents to score first. They fell behind by multiple scores early in those games. And it's hard. And Florida State has shown time and again before last week that they can come back from those deficits. But like Jimbo Fisher, if you watch the Showtime show a season with, said at one point in one of his meetings with the team, is you play with fire when you do that, and sooner or later it's going to come back to bite you or burn you, so to speak. I guess fire doesn't bite, does it? Whatever, you don't want to do it, and we saw that, and we got a front row seat for that, what can happen at Louisville on Saturday, and so I think we're going to keep hammering that point until we no longer have to. Come out, look sharp, look engaged. We heard the word passion several times from players and Jimbo Fisher this week. Be passionate, show that you're upset about what happened, but channel that into the right energy and play well from the get-go. Remind USF that you're the team that deserves to be the heavy favorite here.
Key number 2, Florida State wants to keep opposing defenses this week, the Bulls, from taking a bite out of DeAndre Francois. He's been sacked 10 times in the first 3 games. Got to keep the redshirt freshman upright.
Absolutely, and look, whenever you say that, your first thought goes to the offensive line, and those guys have had an uneven start to the year, but it's not just the offensive line. You also have to have your running backs and fullbacks chip in, getting involved in pass protection, and then it's also incumbent on DeAndre Francois to know what he's seeing, have that timer in his head working, and trusting those guys when they do provide him with a good pocket, and making sure to get rid of the ball in time when there's nothing there. So it starts up front, but everybody plays a responsibility, or has a responsibility when it comes to keeping the quarterback upright.
Which leads into key number 3 is big plays, because if they can keep Francois upright, USF's secondary has missed 15 tackles so far this season, which means if you get the ball to those guys, or if Dalvin Cook gets out in the open, you might be able to break a few big plays.
Yeah, absolutely, and you mentioned Dalvin Cook. I think what's made him so effective, or what had made him so effective in the past when he was breaking off those long runs, is his ability to break through the front 7, get to the second level, get lined up against a cornerback or a safety, and just be able to break free of a one-on-one tackle. If they can get those types of matchups with Dalvin Cook or with Travis Rudolph or with Bobo Wilson or Auden Tate, who we've seen emerge over the last couple of weeks, they can take advantage of some sloppy tackling, the more the better, and maybe get some big plays, quiet that crowd, and get some confidence moving forward for the rest of the game.
There you have it, Seminoles, your 3 keys to a victory over USF. Make sure you stick with the Nole Insiders at Seminoles.com postgame, as Tim will have his written analysis, and we'll have highlights and post-game reaction from Jimbo Fisher and the players as well. So for Tim Linnefelt, I'm Lane Hurt. It's game time. Let's go Noles.